Welcome to Trending Topics, our brand new weekly show dedicated to discussing current affairs, social issues, and culture. Tonight's show is entitled Slut Shaming. You know what? Actually, I'm going to get my beloved sister Tiff to actually introduce this topic tonight. Over to you, Tiff.
Hello. So tonight we're going to be discussing slut shaming. So we're all clear on what slut shaming is. I'll read a definition. So slut shaming is the act of criticizing a woman for her real or presumed sexual activity or behaving in ways that someone thinks are associated with her real or presumed sexual activity. So I guess the starting question is, should sluts be shamed?
Now, that's a real good question. I want the ladies actually to go in on this one because I don't know. As a man, I'm feeling kind of awkward to be answering this question. So I'm going to give that over to Tiffany. Tiffany, should sluts be shamed? I know she's trying to be quiet. You need to take your mic off mute. And everybody's actually tuning in right now. We're literally gone live at this moment in time. So please hit the share button because this show is going to get really exciting. It's going to get real saucy. So please hit the share button and let everybody know we have started. We are now live. Trending Topics has begun. And the topic of discussion is slut shaming. So Tiffany, let me know. Should sluts be shamed?
I don't think that they should be shamed. I don't agree with really shaming any woman because the background behind a woman that acts out sexually is usually not a good one. Usually something traumatizing has happened in her life that would make her act out that way. So that would be my opinion.
So
Tiff,
basically, you're saying to me, okay, we should excuse a slut for being a slut and not actually shame them. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not excusing their behavior, but I don't think they should be publicly shamed either.
Okay, interesting. At the same time, we're using the word slut. I think that's a very shameful word in itself. Should promiscuous women be labeled with these certain terminologies as sluts and whores and is it right to actually, denominate them as such?
I would say no. But what makes them my question would be what makes them either sexually promiscuous? How will we know? If we know that, I still don't agree with the label because it's a double standard basically. I mean, a lot of women are sexually promiscuous and so are men. So they feel like they can get away with it as well just because there is a double standard there.
But what do you have to do to be constituted?
Right.
Like, that's the first thing. Like, what?
When I was reading up on slut shaming, there a lot of it had to do with the way a woman dresses.
Yeah.
That would put them in that category. And I mean, to be honest, a lot of women who are modest per se in their clothing are more sexually promiscuous than the women who are running around in shorts and skirts.
Exactly. So what are we judging on? Because I saw a video clip, I don't know if you guys saw it, of a talk or something that Devon Franklin and Megan Good were at. And
I did see that.
Right, so Megan Good is married a pastor, and so she's following him around to do his talks and stuff like that. And obviously, because it's Megan Good, she's from a secular industry, and she's done, provocative pictures or whatever. And a lady in the congregation, kind of told her, you're going to cover up because, live by your word or whatever. And her husband stuck up for her and said, you know what? She can wear what she wants because she's been Christian throughout having her boobs out, throughout having, sex scenes on TV or whatever. So I want to know, Callum, what would you, if you and your boys are sitting down, what are you actually saying is a slut or hoe or what is it?
Yeah, let's get a male perspective.
Can't hear you there.
Okay, so I guess we can't hear the male perspective here. His mic isn't working right now. But yeah, I mean, that would be our I would base my premise off that, you know, what would a male think a slut is, or a woman who is sexually promiscuous, you know? Is it her look, or is it actually knowing what her actions are?
And another thing as well that you see on online when people talk about sluts and whores and things is somehow a male wasn't able to get a female, and then they go around and call her names and stuff like that, or shame her for being with someone else and she wasn't with them, etc., etc. So there's so many angles to this. Which one do you want to tackle first? Okay, Tiffany, have you ever named or forced a female as a promiscuous woman or called her slut or her or something?
Have I called another female that?
Yeah.
Of course she has. Of course she has.
Out of anger, maybe. Maybe so. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I've said it out of anger. But as far as her actually being one, maybe not. No. Have you?
Well, of course.
Tiffany, have you?
No, I have. But that's what I'm saying. The times that I have, I think, is obviously being out of anger or I don't know. But I can't say it's because, oh, she did this, that. You know?
Yeah. What makes a female sexually promiscuous? Like, is it the number of men that she's been with? Or what is it? Is it her style? Is it her dress? Or is it the actual number of men that she's been with? And does that even matter?
Yeah.
I'm going to open it up to my team Osiris brother. Kufu, what makes a woman a slut? Please, unmute your mic and let us know. What actually makes a woman a slut? See, the men are really doing TV right about now. They're really trying to be...
Peace, I'm here, man.
All right, go ahead. So let's know.
What makes a woman a slut?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would depend on her agenda. Like, if she has a real agenda, I would say that would be, you know, it would have more of a purpose. But I would say if she had no purpose, that would be more sluttish. If you just didn't have no purpose in your promiscuous ways.
So can I just correct, brother? Are you saying that if a female, I don't know, what could be the purpose? Like if a female slept with, I don't know, 5 guys in 2 weeks.
Well, I just say that based on, history. You know, women used to be in Harlems. You know, like a man might have 100 concubines, and so like that was all she was to do, is like to please, whoever is running the harem, or whoever is, she's a concubine too. And so, just because it's a different day and time, a woman could just like to have sex just as much as a man likes to have sex. So I just like to put it in proper context, because, a lot of men, they like to have sex, but a lot of women like to have sex, and they might like to have sex with different people for different reasons. And, I just got to add the human element in there just for room for error. But that's why I say if she has no purpose for what she does, that would make it more sluttish. Because some girls, they just want to have fun. Some girls, they do it in college. They just having fun, and then change, get their degree, move on to get a career, and do other things in life. So I just say it just because of the human element, that, we still are humans, and we somewhat conform to social conditions. So whatever's popping for that social or that culture at the time, that's just going to be what it is. And so I just like to put that into perspective.
So are you saying that when the women then were either considered concubines or, you know, another wife, that they're not considered whores or sluts, even though that's their main purpose is just to please a man?
I wouldn't say that they would be considered a slut. Not in that context, no, because it is the way of the culture at that that time. Like, you were raised to do this. This is all you know all your life, and so some women that's all they know, and that's just how they're raised. No matter
So hold on.
And
I want to know real
go ahead,
quick,
brother.
because I don't know if we've actually defined what a slut is. I want to know, what exactly is a slut?
That was my question. Like, does she have to sleep with a particular amount of men? What makes a slut? Like, her clothing, how many people she sleeps with? What is it?
Obviously, the definition is subjective. So, Kalam, what do you think?
See, I have to be honest with you. Me personally, I don't actually use the term slut. I don't know much people inside of my circle as men who actually use the word slut. We usually hear the word slut coming actually from females, calling other females sluts. I don't know if I'm doing TV right now, but it's true, because as a man, we tend not to call the females who we're trying to get to be promiscuous with sluts, because obviously that may just cause some type of offense, and we don't really want that. We want females to act a certain promiscuous way, because it makes life much more easier for us. So as men, I'm going to be real with you. We don't actually use that terminology. Now, I see most females use that terminology maybe for women who actually, give it up very freely, or literally sleep with numerous amount of guys in a short space of time. So I don't know, what exactly is it? Is it because she gives it up in a short space of time? Is it because she, gives it up full stop? Is it because she's wearing raunchy clothes? What actually makes a woman a slut? And I think, the only group of people can actually answer this question is actually other females. Because it's really other females who are really judgmental on other females. So, this question has to go to Courtney, it has to go to Tiff, it has to go to Tiffany. You have to answer the question of what makes a woman a slut. And all I hear is silence. All I hear is silence.
Well, I would say, if I meet you, Kalam, if I meet you for the first time tomorrow, and I want to sleep with you, I would consider that a slut.
Because you met someone and you want to sleep with them the very next day, that makes the woman a slut.
If I don't know you,
just really just wanted to have sex with him, like, you're not gonna do it because I'm gonna be called a slut, or what? What is it?
Like, what would you think in your head? What would you think in your head if I want to sleep with you tomorrow and you only met me the day before, or that same day, and I want to sleep with you?
You see, I'm a person that believes in love at first sight, lyrics. So, in ways there, like, it's literally like, I fell in love with you, love at first sight. Like, I don't see no problem with actually sleeping with the person that I truly do love.
How do you know that I haven't done that yesterday to another guy?
But how do I know that in the space of 3 months speaking with you, you are not sleeping with another guy or several other guys, in the same week? I don't know. I don't know this.
So, Tiff, what do you think?
Come on.
In my adult life, I haven't really called another female out of her name in that respect. It never gets to that. But in terms of females that I know have been called certain names, or they're known as a whore, or just can I just say that we don't really say slut here.
I know.
We don't. It's not the word used, but however, the ones that are called hoes or whatever, it's usually because they're always around a certain area, or they're always around a certain group of guys, or they're dressed
a corner, that's the area.
I love comedy.
Well, exactly. Or always in the club, you know. Like I've heard some of my male friends say, "Oh, there's the same girl. She's always in the same club every Friday or every this and da da da." Like, what are you doing? You're just looking for man. And do you know what I mean? That's the sort of rhetoric that comes
See,
across.
but I think that's the perception that I guess is, I would say, is wrong, because like I mean, I personally do not have female friends. I maybe have one. I I hang with mostly males, and I growing up, even in school, I have been called a hoe, a whore, just because I hang with a lot of males, and they would assume that I'm sleeping with all of them, and I haven't, and I did not. So that's why I don't necessarily see a female in a group of males and think she's a whore. She would have to actually do something, or either present herself in a certain type of way for me to even consider that.
Perception is everything, you know. Perception is everything. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
now, if I saw a female constantly around males, would I think any different of her? No, I don't think I would. But I do understand that because I think most men would actually assume that because a woman is around certain guys, they must be sleeping with them. I think because on their heads, in their minds, you know what? If there's a woman around, I'm trying to get into their knickers. So they're actually presuming that the same guys that she's around is obviously trying to get into her knickers and are succeeding in getting into her knickers. Hence the reason why she's continuously and persistently around. So I think it's all down to perception. What do you think?
I agree.
Well, can I answer that?
Go
Please,
ahead, Courtney.
Courtney.
Kind of think, and I'm just coming in, I apologize for that, but I just kind of think that based on some of the things that are being said, that there's this double standard. Now, granted, I do believe that, a woman could be, I don't like to use the term slut and hoe. I mean, you could be loose with yourself. I'll say that. I'll say you could be loose, but at the same time, I just think there's this double.
Indeed, your phone's cutting out a little bit, but yeah, I do think there is quite a lot of double standards in the sense that, men as men, we get spots, we get like high fives, we get fist pumps if we are sleeping with multiple females at the same time. But when it comes to actually a woman sleeping with multiple, or even just two men within a short space of time, like a month or so, they immediately get slandered or get the label of hoe or slut or whatever the case is. There is definitely double standards in my perception. I don't know. You let me know. Is there a double perception?
I think yeah, you got women too. Like if a woman likes you and she thinks that you're talking to somebody, like this woman, this girl in high school, she's always called me a dog because I, just had friends. But I was we was dating, but I think she just used that term with every guy she was with. They would be like, you're a dog, you're a dog. So I don't know. I think, sometimes it does. Some women look at you like that too as well. But for the most part, I would say a woman really couldn't be considered a slut if she's really not in a monogamous relationship or if she's not married. And you also got to add into the equation that there are way more women on the planet than there are men. So if everybody was just in a monogamous relationship, there's going to be a whole lot of women that just are never going to get none at all, ever. So I don't know. How do you add that into the
I don't know if I agree with that, because even if a man is considered a dog, it still doesn't have the same negative connotation. If you're a woman and you're with a man and he's considered a dog, what's the first thing that happens if you're able to get that man to be faithful to you? You get a pat on the back, right? But what happens with the woman who's considered to be promiscuous and the man marries her? You made a hoe a housewife. Like it's still this double standard. Like it's not seen the same way.
I agree with Courtney. It's true. Especially if a guy is being called a gallus or a ladies' man or a womanizer, they might act like it's a problem for them, but they become popular in some way. With females, it's not.
I don't know, I don't know. I think, being a gallus, as a man being a gallus or womanizer, there is some type of popularity and fame to it. But at the same time, you can become very infamous, where you're actually blacklisted from certain places. As soon as you actually turn up to a place.
Not males.
Sorry?
From females?
Yeah, from females. Females are looking at you like, this guy is a dog. Like, no way. Like, you're being done straight away. And even men who are talking
to me, I think, I'm sorry, I just think a lot of times, I'm sorry, he's cutting up. I'm sorry, Kalam.
Go ahead, Courtney.
I still think that for a lot of women, even if they feel like a man is a dog, we still have this kind of feeling that we could change them, we could mold them, we could be that good woman that's going to make them settle down. Like, we feel like we want to actually tame the man and, make him something that he's not. Whereas a man doesn't feel like he could do that with a woman a lot of the time. If she's a hoe, she's a hoe. You're going to keep her in a hoe's place and you're going to do what you do with hoes. You're not going to try to wife her or have a relationship with her. You're just going to keep her in that little slut box or hoe box or whatever you want to call it. You're not going to try to
That's
be
right.
open about it.
That's your female's problems. That's what I got to say. That's your female's problems. As a man, yeah. I don't know why you trying to convert him. You can't change him. Just leave him. If he's a gallus, he's a gallus. Leave him be. What is up with you females always wanting to be the only one who was able to tame that man? Like, give it up. He's a hoe. Leave him. Leave him be.
Hey, but Caleb,
you
got women. You got men too, Caleb. Like I know men like that were married to women, and no matter what that woman did, no matter how many people she slept with, they would still be together. Or even if they knew that, okay, I know situations where a woman may have slept with like 3 guys, and one of the guys is like, yo, that's my girl now. Like, literally, it goes on. So, I mean, it goes both ways. Like, yo, she going to be mine regardless.
It's not equal, though. I don't see that happening more that way than the other way around. Like, even then, your friends are still, if you're a dude, your friends are still going to clown you. They still gonna say, like, why you wiping that hole? Like, why are you going through all of that again? Where I say, see, girl.
Well, let me ask you. I gotta ask you this question.
On the back for being with the promiscuous guy.
Well, I have to ask you this question because you hear all in the music like, yo, I'm gonna take your girl. I'm gonna get your girl. It's like popular among men. It's like, yo, I'm gonna take her. I'm gonna take his girl. I'm gonna try to holler his girl. I'm gonna get his girl. She gonna be my girl. Like, most of the time, people would be like, yo, she's a hoe. Like, if she was screwing him, and especially if the guys were friends. Like, I know plenty of situations where guys is friends and girls with one guy. He took her. Now, she's with him. So it's the same thing.
I hear you, my brother. You know what? We've actually got a caller in right now. If you're in the UK and you want to get in right now and have your say, literally the number is right there. Just call in that number and you can have your say right now. So I'm actually going to bring in a caller right now by the name of Scott. Go ahead.
Thanks. I'm loving this. It's great hearing all the different views. And I think what hasn't really been spoken about in any huge amount of detail is the way in which slut shaming is a lot about people's perceptions of possession. Because now what you're talking about in terms of that difference between people is men saying, oh, that woman, she's acting in all these different ways, and really that makes me feel bad. That's what it's about. At least for me, that's. And
Well,
even now,
I'm
we're trying to change that.
sorry.
And it's a completely different approach to relationships between men and women. And I think for whatever reason, be it genetic, be it cultural, that people are having a hard time accepting that women and men now are on a far more even playing field, and relationships aren't about possession, that they're about people connecting, people working together.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just keep watching in, and you're going to hear a response to that.
Well, can I answer that, Kalam? I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Of course.
Well, to me, and what slut shaming is it's really not that simple. It's more complex than that. And it could go very deep. One aspect of it that I really want to talk about that I think is kind of serious is the whole concept of like rape, like women feeling as if it's their fault. That's one aspect of slut shaming. Another is like street harassment. You walk down the street, some guys are hitting on you, you don't want to talk to them, and well, you know, it's like, fuck you, bitch, you can't hear me talking to you. Like, it's just that disrespect. Or because you're dressed a certain way, a man feels as if he could touch you or grab you, or that you're willing to have sex with him just based on the way that you're dressed. Those kinds of things are slut shaming. Now, to me, there's the other side of it. And I think we were talking about it before. I brought up Amber Rose because not too long ago there was an event called the Slut Walk, and the Slut Walk is an annual event where people, you know, women come together and they try to highlight those kinds of things. But Amber Rose was a spokesperson for that event this year, and it kind of raised the question: could someone who could be seen as promiscuous actually raise awareness to women who were there who were saying, "I got raped, and I wasn't dressed promiscuous. You know, I wasn't dressed like someone who would be promiscuous. I had on regular clothes, and this man raped me, so it's not my fault." Like, very serious instances, very serious things. But Amber Rose, who to me is a self-proclaimed slut, was a spokesperson for that, and basically trivialized the very serious things that happen to women as a result of slut shaming. So, I don't know what anybody thinks about that.
Ladies.
Courtney,
okay?
what makes
I don't know.
what
Okay, let me just
Rose
quickly. I don't know if anybody has actually seen that Slut Walk trailer by Amber Rose as well. She was literally, I don't know. Can somebody actually? I'm gonna let a female explain this. Can a female explain?
What happened in that she did a promotional video for the walk, and what it was she was leaving someone's house. You could tell she's walking out the door, she's holding her heels, and she has on some very tight clothes. And as she's walking down the street, there's different people coming up to her because they could tell that she basically just had a night of casual sex. And as she's walking down the street, people are like, "Hey, you know, I used to do that back in my..." Another man like, "I want my daughter to be just like you." And someone else is like, "Hey, did you just have sex last night?" And she's like, "I sure did." And then at the end, there's a little boy he looks like he's like maybe 11 or 12, and he says, "Mom, did that lady just get fucked?" And the mother says, "Yeah, she sure did." Like, they're congratulating her based on the fact that she left someone's house and had casual sex. I don't agree with that. I think that that's in poor taste, and I think it was a very poor representation of what that walk was supposed to symbolize. But that's just me. Do I think Amber Rose is a slut? You know, I think she's promiscuous, and I think she promotes promiscuity, but that's my opinion.
I agree in what you just said there when you said that she promotes promiscuity, because I feel like the way she promotes slut shaming and the slut walk is more like, I just want to be able to dress how I want and do what I want without any backlash. That's the way I see the way she presents it, if I'm honest. And I love Amber Rose, she's cool, whatever, but that's the way I see the way she presents it. What do you think, Tia?
I mean, I agree with what Courtney said. As far as her promoting the slut walk in that fashion, it was in poor taste because a lot of these women who have been slut shamed have not just had casual sex. But I guess that's her perception of a slut walk. So that's why she did it that way. So.
Okay. And you know what? If you're tuning in right now, hold on 1 second. If you're tuning in right now, and you want to get in and actually join in with this conversation, the UK number is there. I know that's definitely working. But if you want to actually join in with us and you're from the USA, join in the Hangouts. The link is literally at the bottom of the page. So in the description box, scroll all the way down, and you'll find join in the panel. So if you want to join in the panel right now, click that button and you'll be able to come in live right now to have your say. For this particular topic, we're actually going to be closing out very shortly. I know everybody's going to be complaining with me, but technically this section is only meant to last for half an hour. Okay, it's only meant to last for half an hour. So I'm going to leave it open for another 10 minutes. You've got literally 10 minutes. If you want to join in, call the number right there to have your say if you're from the UK, or join the Hangouts link right at the bottom to come in with a conversation. All right, go on, ladies, continue. Okay, don't continue.
Courtney, I wanted to hear what you had, because since this, I know you're really passionate about this subject, and I kind of wanted to hear a little more about it, since I haven't really, I've read up on it, but I haven't really just been, I guess, informed.
Well, like I said, as far as that particular, and I think that really brought into, I guess that really highlighted that event, and Amber Rose sponsoring it really was what highlighted what slut shaming is. And like I said, to me, how she handled it really trivializes very serious things that go on as a result of that, of just this whole misogynistic notion that a woman is like property, or a piece of meat, or some, like a, someone that you could just use to relieve yourselves. Like, I think that is something that goes on, like, and I think it's something that needs to be paid attention to. But at the same time, I don't personally feel like somebody who capitalizes over a very over-sexualized image should be the spokesperson for those women who don't do things like that, who may have just been walking down the street and someone harassed them and they get called a bitch and a slut, or who got raped. There's another picture, and I wish I would have shared it with you guys.
650
Sorry about that.
2760. Want to read it or ignore it?
There was a picture of a girl. She was dressed like very modestly. She had a shirt and it was buttoned up, and she had jeans on. They weren't tight. And it said, "This is what I was wearing when he raped me." Basically saying, like, I didn't ask for it.
Read it or ignore it.
I'm sorry about that. So I think those kinds of things are the things that need to be highlighted, but they don't get highlighted. She basically trivialized something that's very serious just by saying, well, because I'm promiscuous and because this is my image, I have a right to be this way. I have a right to do what I want to do with my body, when everybody who was a part of that walk wasn't trying to bring attention to slut shaming in that way.
Right.
You see, me personally, I don't think she shouldn't be able to represent slut shaming. You know what? I'm gonna be a bit controversial. For the mere fact, she kind of did some type of slut shaming on Kanye West. I like Kanye West, but I'm not sure if I have to agree that I agree with certain things he does. But I believe a few weeks ago or a week ago, she stated that see, I'm finding it difficult to actually let it come out my mouth. She actually used to stick her fingers up Kanye's rectum. Now, to me, that sounds as an act of slut shaming.
Is that slut shaming?
That is slut shaming. I'm sorry, that was ridiculous. She should have never ever said something like that. Like, that was crazy.
Hold on a second. How is that slut shaming? I think I was just exposing him. Why is that slut shaming?
I agree, and I personally, Kalam, hate Kanye West. And what he tried to do to her was basically, yeah, she didn't have a good name out there, first of all, but still to tarnish it even more by putting her relationship down, and talk about her son, saying that he wouldn't even be there because of him. That's ridiculous.
But I mean, do you counter that by talking about something very explicit you did with somebody? Like, is it okay because he said that for her to say?
He did the same thing. He went on air and said that he had 1,000 showers before he could even sleep with Kim because he slept with Amber Rose. He did the same thing.
Yeah, I think that is more slut shaming than saying I did this with my ex.
It is, but then at the same time, you also have to think about the fact that she basically, yes, it's slut shaming. Yes, it's wrong for him to do that. But she makes a living based off the fact that she has a very over sexualized image. Like, you want to say at one point you're slut shamed, but then you make a video about the slut walk coming out of someone's house barefoot in tight clothes with people asking if you just had sex. Like, she capitalizes off of that. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, he slut shamed me, but you promote being a slut every chance you get.
But Courtney, didn't we just say that? I think you've given an example of slut shaming there, Courtney.
How is that?
Because what you've just said is she's saying this, but then she's doing this, and we're saying that people who are promiscuous. Well, earlier we were saying that people who are promiscuous. Are we judging them for, you know, being wanting to have sex or enjoying sex? So if Amber Rose,
my thing is, you can't say I'm slut shamed, but basically say I'm a slut. Like, how does that work? How you're not ashamed when you do things like she's doing? That doesn't show shame to me. Like, you want to talk about how someone spoke about intimate details of your personal sex life, but then you bring up intimate details about them. Like, I don't understand that. You have a son, but you twerking in a thong, but you mad that people are calling you a slut. Like, I don't, and maybe it's because I don't agree with her image. I think I don't agree with that. I don't think that you can have it both ways. If you're gonna do things that promote a certain type of image and a lifestyle, then you can't be mad when people say that you're a slut. Like, you can't. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was right for her to use her image or come up off of the tragedy of other people. Like, people actually have real things happen to them as a result of these images that people like her promote. That's what I think.
All right, you know what? I just want to remind everybody, literally, we've got 3 more minutes left of this show. It's a very short show today, so I have to apologize, you know, if everybody couldn't come in and have their say. But this section of the show is only supposed to last for half an hour, okay? But we're going overtime. But if you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, please give us a big thumbs up. Let us know you like the information as well. Please give us in the comments down below topics to discuss, okay? You know, if you're lucky, hopefully we may just carry on and give you a second topic a little bit later on, but just let us know if you want to hear any particular topics discussed on the show, and we'll definitely bring it up. All right, back to you, ladies.
Can I just, I wanted to say, what's the balance here? Because on one side we're saying, oh, you can't have it both. You know, if you've got a child, you can't, you know, if you're comfortable with being a slut, then, you know, they complain about being slut shamed because you're not ashamed. On the other side, we're saying, you know, it's the way you behave, look, areas you're in or whatever. So what's the balance? Because it still becomes a double standard then, I think.
I think when you have more to offer besides your sexuality, if you're famous based on your sexuality, you don't have any other kind of talent, you look a certain way, you dress a certain way, you promote your sexuality in a very open way, then to me that's a problem. I mean, that's just me. There are people who are sex symbols, and I can name them, but it doesn't even make sense to go into all of that. There are people who are sex symbols, and you know that they may promote their sexuality in a certain type of way, but that's not their whole platform. That's not their whole image. That's not what their whole image is based off of. They have other things to offer the world besides who and what they've done and who they slept with. They're not famous because they just went around sleeping with a whole bunch of different famous people. And I think that's becoming like a norm.
You know, I would like to hear the guys speak right now, because we're literally entering into the last section of the show. So, Issa, if you're there, please give us your thoughts on the subject now.
I think that this whole thing with the word slut is more of a, you know, it's a kind of a backward cultural thing, because if you look at any society that's trying to build itself and evolve and develop to produce and, you know, to be productive, it would have proper terms to define what type of behavior is, you know, beneficial or non-beneficial. Do you know what I mean? So just using words like slut and hoe and da da da, that's based upon the kind of backward culture that we've sort of accepted for ourselves and we've bought into, and it just seems to, you know, perpetuate itself for being self-destructive. But it's kind of like, well, why would somebody be into male or female? But obviously for the female, so I was going to say, why would they be into just sleeping around with different people for the sake of what? Because, you know, if we've not got certain objectives that are beneficial for ourselves, for our family, for the community, and for our tribe and nation. Do you get me? Which you would find in other people. So those are the reasons I can see why people would just want to have sex with different people. Like if you saw yourself having a greater vision in the future, you'd probably want to have, you know, one partner, have children, build something, build a business, or do something progressive other than just sleeping around. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's something that we've, you know, it's a legacy, I guess, from being conquered by various other people and so on and so forth. Do you know what I mean? This is something I feel we're being taken advantage of. That's how I see it.
Ladies, is this just the you know, the legacy of the YOLO era? You know, you only live once. Let us experience as much as we possibly can experience. Carpe diem, seize the day. If I have a lustful desire for you, why not act it out?
I feel like typically a lot more women are being a lot more free, and from what I've seen, it seems to be, or from females that I've tell me stories, it seems to be that they expected something. A lot of the time, they thought, oh, you know, he's gonna expect sex, so do that, and then I'll be wifey, and blah blah blah. That's what seems to be like the things that come up a lot, why they're sleeping around. So
I agree. I personally know someone that that all she does is basically sleep with different guys every single time, and the main response from her would be, he's the one, or she thinks that she's going to be his wife, and it's totally opposite, complete opposite. It's just a bad judge of character. But I personally know that she's had something tragic happen in her life, and growing up, and a lot of these women do, you know, and either a father figure, a male wasn't there, he was absent, or you know, something basically dramatic has happened to them to even act out in a way that can cause them to be sexually promiscuous.
And confidence as well.
It's clear we can't get through everything on tonight's show, but this is a very interesting topic. And I think we actually have to revisit this topic again, and I'm sure again, and actually stretch out the time for this topic, because, you know, there's so many different tangents that we can do.
I would also like to hit on the black female and the black community, and why she is sexualized versus other races and of women in their communities.
I agree.
Yeah. So
I think that would be an awesome topic.
There's so many angles to it being a social issue. There's the feminism, there's the, you know, sexism, everything. We need to, you know, go over it, I guess.
We really need to go into this. So if you want another show, hopefully we should be able to put another show on tonight. Or, of course, you know, it's a weekly show. Our shows come on every single Friday. It's supposed to be a 1-hour show with 2 topics. But, you know, we're going to kind of work out this timing issue. We definitely need to work out this timing issue. So this is actually being trending topics. Please hit the like button down below. Share it with your friends. You know what? Let's talk about this. You know, we've also got a trending topics Facebook group. So if you want to actually spill over this conversation over into the Facebook group, visit Trending Topics on Facebook. Okay, that's Trending Topics on Facebook. And you can meet up with all the lovely ladies, myself, and the rest of the brothers who are actually here on the panel now. So this has been Trending Topics. I've been Kalam L. We've had Tiffany, we've had Courtney, and of course we've had our American Tiffany. So we're signing out right now. So peace, and love.